How do we analyze fiscal policy impacts in economics? Have you ever wondered how government spending and tax changes affect our economy? Analyzing fiscal policy impacts is key to understanding this connection. Fiscal policy refers to how a government adjusts its spending and taxation to influence economic activity. To start, economists look at whether fiscal policy is expansionary or contractionary. Expansionary policy means increasing spending or cutting taxes to boost demand. On the other hand, contractionary policy involves reducing spending or raising taxes to cool down an overheated economy. One common method for analyzing these policies is through the Aggregate Demand-Aggregate Supply framework. This model helps illustrate how changes in fiscal policy can shift aggregate demand, which in turn affects output and price levels in the economy. Timing is also important when analyzing fiscal policy. Economists use real-time data on government budgets and economic indicators to estimate both immediate and lagged effects of fiscal changes. This is crucial because initial data can be revised, and understanding timing helps differentiate between temporary and permanent effects of policies. Macroeconomic models play a significant role in this analysis. For example, structural econometric models and dynamic stochastic general equilibrium models simulate how fiscal policy impacts variables like gross domestic product, unemployment, inflation, and budget deficits over time. These models take into account how households and businesses might change their behavior in response to fiscal policies. Fiscal multipliers are another important aspect. These metrics measure how much economic output changes in response to a change in government spending or taxation. The size of these multipliers can vary based on the state of the economy. For instance, multipliers tend to be larger during economic downturns when resources are underutilized. Analysts also look at how fiscal policy responds to economic cycles. Countercyclical fiscal policy aims to stabilize the economy by increasing spending or cutting taxes during downturns and doing the opposite during economic booms. Evaluating the effectiveness of this approach involves comparing actual fiscal outcomes to cyclically adjusted targets. Sustainability of fiscal policy is another key consideration. This involves assessing the impact of government deficits and debt on future generations. High levels of debt can crowd out private investment or lead to increased interest rates, which may offset short-term benefits of fiscal stimulus. In practice, analyzing fiscal policy impacts helps in designing stimulus packages during economic downturns, assessing tax reforms, and setting medium-term fiscal targets. Policymakers relying on these analyses to balance immediate economic stabilization goals with long-term fiscal health. In summary, analyzing fiscal policy impacts involves a blend of theoretical models, real-time data evaluation, measurement of fiscal multipliers, and consideration of the broader economic context. This approach helps us understand how government actions influence the overall economy.